2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn the beat back.
The Kingpin of Cinema,
and the QB999 bringing you another episode of the Magic Hour.
Yes, baby, it's the Magic Hour. Let's make magic happen.
Alright, you're overdoing it.
No, I'm not.
Alright, we're back because new Phyrexia, the next set in the Phyrexia vs. Mirrodin Block.
Well, I guess Mirrodin lost.
Yeah, pretty much the story is Mirrodin lost the war, and so Phyrexia is starting to take over.
They done screwed up, son. Now, stuff be hitting the fans, yo.
So, as per our usual way, we will be going over some of our favorite cards we saw from the set.
May I stress, purely our favorite cards, not necessarily the best cards of the set, or the cards that are going to be worth the most in the set. What we personally thought illustrates the best points of the set, and what we personally liked.
And then going over the new mechanics as we go over the cards themselves as well. And then give a general overview of what we thought of the whole set in general.
Well, Eric, you want to kick it off?
Alright, the first card I want to talk about is called Marrow Shards. This also shows a new theme with this deck, where instead of a mana symbol in the corner, you get the Phyrexian symbol with a color. And what this means is that instead of paying... The Phyrexian symbol means you can pay the mana in two ways. Either one, of the color, so in this case it would be white, or you can pay it using 2 life. This opens up a vast array of new possibilities, especially in the early game. If you have 1 mana in your hand, and 6 cards, all with that one symbol on it, you could potentially play your entire hand first turn.
And be practically dead by the end of it.
Yeah, you'll be down.
There's another benefit to the card. It's like, if you don't want your opponent to win, like if you're losing, and just to spite them, you can use these cards to kill yourself, just to say, hey, I killed myself, you didn't kill me.
Anyway,
Anyway,
the cost of this card is just the one symbol. Some of them have 2, some of them still have a mana cost to go along with the symbol.
So it's not completely overpowered.
So you'll still be paying mana for some of them. It's not like you could just say, I paid 10 life to play this one card.
Yeah.
But it gives you more options, especially with some of the counter spells that they can do. So you can still tap yourself out and still be relatively safe.
Alright, cool. My first pick is Blade Splicer. And what this set is really focusing on are golem decks. Now, I'm excited for any time we get a new creature type that they bring in.
A main focus.
A main focus for a certain creature type, especially for one that's always been around and has never had a focus. So, like in Zendikar Vampires, Kamigawa Rats. This one, Golems.
Each color basically has one card that's meant to benefit golems.
Yeah, in this particular card, I just picked one. I didn't want to talk about all 6. There's green has 2. This one, it's a 3/3. When it comes into play, you get a 3/3 golem, and it gives all golems +1/+1 and first strike. So in terms of buffing and giving abilities wise, this is probably the best one. The second best would be one from green. When it comes out into play, you get 2 3/3 golems, and it gives them all trample, but it does cost 7. So it's really cool that we now have golems, and we can make a golem deck. So I'm totally psyched to make a golem deck now.
I think that was a good one too.
Yeah.
On to my second pick, Runesteel Paladin. This guy, is just a regular creature. His ability, though, is when you get Metalcraft, basically every single equip cost for every equipment you have becomes 0. So if you have him, and the creature that makes it so you can flash equipment around.
I was just
Equipment's just going to be jumping all over the fucking place.
Yeah,
right?
I was just thinking that.
If you have any deck that's focused on equipment, this will be one you want to have.
Yeah. My next card is kind of illustrating another point. That's something I kind of noticed with it. Xenographed. It's a blue card. It costs 5. And basically when it comes into play, you choose a creature type. And all the creatures under your control become of chosen type. So basically, it's a conspiracy.
It's a blue conspiracy.
Exactly. Another card that kind of goes along with this is Priest of Uberisk, who's basically a red version of Priest of Gix.
Oh, yeah.
So, I'm kind of sensing that we're taking cards that from older sets that had a particular color, but are putting them in new colors.
Yeah, Priest of Gix, when he came into play, it's a black creature, he costs 3, you get 3 black mana. This new creature, when he's a red one, comes into play, you get 3 red mana. So they basically replenish the mana that you spend.
I mean, he has the exact same cost, he gives you the exact same ability, and even his creature types are almost exactly the same. He's a human cleric, and Priest of Gix was a human cleric minion. He doesn't have the minion part of it, but there might be more cards in this set that were from older colors that they kind of redid in new colors. I'm not hating on it. I think it's kind of cool that we can get like certain creatures or certain spells that were in a particular color in older sets, but in putting them in a new light in a new color and set to kind of widen your range of abilities and things that you can do. Another thing I've noticed on a side note, I've noticed that a lot of the artwork is very similar to artworks of previous sets, especially Phyrexian stuff. That might have been intentional, but it's hard to say.
Alright. Well, anyway, my next card is a blue one called Chained Throatseeker. It's actually I forget if it's common or uncommon, but basically it's a blue creature that's a 5/5 infect. It
can't attack unless somebody has a poison counter.
It has that built into it, so yeah, you can't just put it out and instantly attack, but if you have an infect deck, by that point, someone's going to have a poison counter.
Yeah, it's
And this thing's a 5/5. That's half the game right there if it hits you. And to make it unblockable is not that hard. So 2 turns, at most, game over.
Potentially 2 turns. It could even be 1. By the time you get this guy out, he could have 6 poison counters.
And then instantly done. So it's 5 poison counters right there.
Alright, the next card is Counselor of the Drows. He's a vampire. He costs 6 to 8. I'm leaning towards 6. Basically what he does, okay, every color has a creature that, if he's in your opening hand, you can reveal him, and an ability goes off. His one is particular in that each opponent loses 3 life, and you gain life equal to all life lost this way.
It's a blood tiff.
Yeah. I don't exactly... Oh, yeah,
he's a 6/6 flying lifelink.
Yeah. So, pretty good.
Yeah, each color has one of those.
Has something like that.
Alright. Another thing that all the colors have is a creature like Jin... Gitaxias, I think that's right. It's a blue card that, when it comes into play, and at the beginning of each of your end steps, I believe, you get to draw 7 cards. But its big fuck you is that your opponent's hands are reduced by 7. So unless they have like a spell book or something out that increases their hand size, they can't have hands.
Yeah, basically, if you draw, you have to play it. Otherwise, you can't have it because of this guy. Yeah, going along with the Praetors, I have the Black Praetor, Sheldred. Whispering one? Shieldred, Whispering one. Almost said Sheldon. Basically what this one does, at the beginning of your upkeep, you take a creature card from your graveyard into play. Okay? If that wasn't enough, it also has Swamp Walk, and at the beginning of your opponent's upkeep, they have to sack a creature.
So you're constantly doing creature switches for yourself. It would have been better, I think, if you could have taken a creature from any graveyard.
Oh, jeez, that would have been...
But still, from your own, it's still a good one.
It's still an insanely good card, because not only are you kind of doing like a grave pack to your opponents every turn, but you're also returning shit too, and Swamp Walk.
Yeah.
I think it's good enough.
So each color has one. We think so far the most devastating is probably the blue and the white one.
Yeah.
The white one gives all your creatures +2/+2, all your opponents -2/-2. So anything below 2 is going to die instantly.
The weakest one is the red one. Basically, you just gives all your creatures haste, and whenever your opponents play a creature, it comes in play tapped.
So I'm sure under certain circumstances that's good, but these ones we just feel are much more devastating.
Yeah.
The next card I want to go through is Geosurge. This one I just like because it reminds me of God, I forget the name of it, Mana Geyser or something, but it was a red card. It costs 3, and it would give you 5 red mana. This one costs 5, or it costs 4? Yeah, it costs 4, and it gives you 7 red mana. It was always good, because there wasn't always a whole lot of mana boost in red. And
but now.
Yeah, and having some of these cards in your deck can really speed it up at times. Because some of those red costing spells are a lot.
Yeah, if you look at it, if you have 4 red, and I have this dragon that costs 7, well, this card basically takes care of that.
Yeah.
My next card is Mira Selvak Outcast, and what's cool about this one is that basically, if you have any poison counters, gone. You can't get any more poison counters. If any of your creatures have -1/-1 counters on them, gone. They cannot have any -1 counters put on them while this is still out in play. And all opponents' creatures lose Infect.
So, actually, that one's kind
Actually, all creatures lose Infect.
your opponents.
It might be just opponents.
But that one kind of works against you. I think they put that ability in it to balance it out, because if you had that card out, and your opponent's creatures still had Infect, basically they couldn't do anything to you then. Mm-hmm. So they had to make it so that they lost Infect, so then they could start doing regular damage to you.
But even so, Insane is a really good card. It costs 2, and that's a human for once. It's not an elf.
I'm surprised about that. It's not a fucking elf.
I think that might be one people may want. But, I don't know. We'll see.
Another card I want to talk about is Mutagenic Growth. It's a green card. Like the first card I went over, this one also just has a single Phyrexian symbol as its cost. It's kind of like a Giant's Growth, except it's just +2/+2. Which, if you have a couple of them in your hand, you can exchange your life to basically kill off your opponent.
Yeah.
Like, if you're at 6, your opponent's at 4, you give up 4 of your life to boost up your creature enough to kill your opponent.
Yeah.
So I think those are a good one, especially in a draft tournament. It would be a pretty good card to use, because you get a creature out first turn, next turn, basically you exchange your life to take that much life off your opponent.
Alright, cool. My next card is Meyer Superion. It's a 5/6.
Cost 2.
Cost 2, but you can only pay it with creature abilities. And, well, with Mir, not hard to do. I just have him on there because it's a 5/6 Mir. And to me, that equals awesome.
That costs 2. And it's not hard to get those Mir to pay for themselves. It's really not. Now, it has to be creatures. It can't be lands. It can't be artifacts. It can't be spells. It has to be creatures.
Yeah, it has to be from creatures.
But still, not that hard.
Not that hard. 5/6.
Well, the last one I want to talk about, I thought was kind of funny, is called Darksteel Relic. It's a artifact that's indestructible, and it costs 0. That's all it does.
Yeah.
It's just a 0-costing artifact that's indestructible. Its main focus is just to get you Metalcraft on your first turn. That's all it's really there for. But if you have a Metalcraft deck, you'll want it. That's the best part about that card.
Yeah, I like that one. My last one is Unwinding Clock. And for anyone that has an artifact deck, you want this in there. Basically, all it does is, during each of your opponent's end steps...
During every other end step, you untap
all your artifacts.
So basically, it's kind of like a semi-vigilance card. It also lets you reuse artifacts again and again.
Yeah, so, I mean, if you get that one spell out that mana pools don't empty, you just can keep constantly filling up your mana pool to play...
As your opponents are going.
As your opponents are going.
And then by the time it gets to be your turn, you'll have a shitload of mana ready.
So, really cool card. One other card I want to mention really quickly... It's a pretty funny one. It's, you tap 6. I don't remember the name of it. But you switch life totals with two players.
Oh yeah, that was pretty. You just keep switching 2 players' life totals. Doesn't have to even be you. It can be 2 other random people.
So good for multiplayer.
I already have an idea for that, of having a card that makes you don't die for having 0 or below 0 life. So you get yourself to 0 life, and then you switch your life total with someone and kill them. One quick other note we might want to talk about is one single planeswalker in this deck, Karn.
But he's pretty good.
He comes into play with, I think, 6 counters. His first ability gives him +4. His next ability, I forget what it is.
You remove 3, and target player has to exile a card from their hand.
Oh no, that's the first ability.
Oh no,
the second ability is you remove a card in play.
Exactly.
And his big ability is 14 counters, which resets the whole game. It resets the whole game.
And anything exiled from his ability, from the previous 2 abilities, comes into play under your control.
Unless it's an enchantment.
or unless it has an aura.
So everything except aura cards come back into play under your control as you restart the game, basically.
So you better hope that you're using Elfspith or Vanesser or Koth. Basically anyone that puts out auras on your stuff.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so anyway, so that's this set. We think it's looking pretty good. There's a couple cards definitely we'll want.
I'm definitely going to pick up a box for it.
Yeah.
I think you are. So
I would definitely say this one's probably a little more worthwhile than the last set.
Definitely. I'm a little disappointed that we didn't get more Lowen. More Mir, and all the equipment cards are living weapons,
which isn't a bad thing.
It's okay, but this is a set definitely worth picking up.
All right. Anyway, so
this is
QB999,
the Kingpin of Cinema.
Thanking you for watching the Magic Hour, and hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below.
And we'll get back to you as soon as we can.
And we'll ignore you.
He will ignore you. I'll answer because I'm nice. He's a jerk.
Anyway,